We have a red dot, America. Welcome back to the Mid-Sack. It is a thirsty Thursday. The redoubtable one himself, Thomas J. Izzo, the highly questionable entrepreneur show. Back in the sack. IDD for those who know I don't disagree. Welcome to our new subscribers, and thank you for tuning in tonight. We love you guys. Thank you for the support. I'm talking mainly about the New York Mets connection that overwhelmed us, flooded the airwaves, if you will.
Eight of them.
Just came in, just a gang showed up. A gang of Mets fans. Rabid Mets fans. Swarm. And we will talk about them in segment 2 because the Mets are going to get their flowers tonight because anybody that bum blasts the Yankees like that is getting flowers from me. So anyway, and it was even the rain, even Mother Nature couldn't save them. Right. So anyway, and they don't think she didn't try because she did. But anyway, we will get to that in segment 2. However, segment 1, NBA draft has just wrapped up recently, and both the Knicks and the Celtics made very good chessboard-like moves, adding to their rosters. And when I say adding, and I want to start with him because the Knicks really, they were up higher in the draft and got some very good players that I think can make an impact. People are talking about, I've been giving Tibbs shit about his bench. The problem is he lost his leading scorer in January, and then one by one they went down. Well, who the fuck was out there at the end of the season? Yeah. Half of it was his bench. So don't say he didn't have a bench when they took the number one offense to 7 games. Yeah. Okay, and what I think they did, they added guys that I think can, and again, I'm sure he's been reading up on these guys all day.
I have my notes.
I want to hear his take on this as a Knicks fan. What did you like? They went 24-25. They were in the second round. They had 1 or 2 picks in the second round.
They basically picked 4 players.
Okay. Yeah.
It was really hard to understand what was happening with the picks, even as you go back through it on ESPN.
Yeah.
It doesn't really map it out well for you because I think they had 24. They traded with Washington for 26.
Yeah.
Okay, but then all of a sudden they had 25.
Yeah,
So I don't know what the hell was going on, but at the end of the day, they drafted a French guy with their first pick. So it seemed like with their first pick they went talent and potential, right?
But again, fits into what they're trying to do.
I guess, yeah, because it wasn't a guy that's like it was a guy that's 6'8", 217 wing. He was one of the youngest players in the draft.
Yep.
I guess he's 18, but you know, he's played against.
He's been playing pro ball.
He's been playing against pro
for a couple of years, like Luka when he came. Yeah.
So now I've heard people say, "Oh, that's smart because they can stash him," which means he stays in Europe for a year,
or he goes in the D League, whatever.
But then I also heard something that he said that wasn't his plan. Mm-hmm. Like he didn't want it. He wanted to be in the NBA. So I like that pick because it's kind of like, hey, we're in the first round. Let's see if we can get first round talent, size, that kind of thing.
He can shoot.
Yeah,
he's a good shooter. I
think they said he has to work. He has to continue to work on that stuff.
Yeah.
But when you're that young, of course you do.
Yeah, of course.
So I like that, and then the second round is really what I like. So with the 26th pick, they traded with OKC, I think. They traded some guy, and they got like 5 second-round picks.
Yeah.
Not this draft, but in the future.
I unlocked the door. What'd you get? By the way, my daughter is coming back from shopping for... Oh, it's adorable.
Oh. Is that what's-her-face?
Ursula. Yeah, it's very cute. Oh, that's adorable. Very nice. She's babysitting for a girl. Birthday, right? 6 tomorrow?
No, her birthday was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
It's the same birthday as Mom.
What's her name again? Hannah. Happy 6th birthday, Hannah, by the way. You're getting presents, but I'm not going to tell you what they are. Not going to tell you what they are. Because here on IDD, we can keep a secret.
God, they got the toilet paper.
And a broom, which...
Holy cow, it's going to be a shit show.
Rumor has it that a certain co-host had the runs on a recent episode, and my wife took note.
That's for me? Oh, my God. Let me just show it on the... Oh, I love my friends.
You got to see that now.
36 rolls of Scott.
You know you got the right girl when your wife buys a legion of toilet paper for your friend.
1,000 sheets.
You never know when you got to go.
I actually like Scott, too.
You never know.
It's good. It's not too soft. Not too. I don't like a big fluff. You know, I'm more of a prison paper kind of guy.
Goes too fast.
Right. It rips and
it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
A lot of dingleberries. Yeah. You don't want that.
You don't want that stuff. No.
All right.
Anyway, back to this. You know, it doesn't matter what we're talking about. At some point, it just veers off into whatever. But anyway, back to this.
With one of those first-round picks, I think the one they got from the Wizards, they traded with OKC. They got like 5 future second-round picks.
Yeah.
Which I think when you're built like the Knicks currently are, you number one picks are going to be. What are you going to do with
You're
them?
not going. Well, they're going to be late. They're going to
Exactly,
be late anyway.
Exactly. And you can't. There's only so much you can add. You have to add complimentary at this point. So I like that. In the second round, they picked up Tyler Kolek, I guess his name is, or Kolek.
Who was he?
They picked up that pick from Portland.
Yep.
He was actually the leader of Marquette for the past 2 years.
Yeah, I saw this.
I love that.
And two things about this real quick. But here's the thing you got to know. The Knicks are a defensive first team. Shaka Smart's name, his bones are made on defense.
Effort.
So you already know this kid can play
Yeah.
defense because Shaka doesn't recruit kids that don't play defense.
Exactly.
And he's been playing in that system for 3-4 years. So that's a kid that can come in right away and play. If nothing else, he can play defense. He won't hurt you on one end of the floor. And he looks like a pretty good offensive player as well.
Well,
So-
that's where I think he's better.
Yeah.
So they drafted him to be a backup point guard.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's great.
They don't really have one like that.
Now they did say like, and from watching his video, like he's not this incredible athlete. He's not dunking on people. So they did say that could be an issue with his defense in the league when he's guarding like bigger, faster, stronger people. However, to your point, Shaka recruits effort players, hard guys, tough guys, not divas. So it's almost similar to a Villanova guy, except the Villanova guys are that plus the talent, plus the size and the speed.
Yep.
So I love that for he's a
Marquette
lefty too.
Marquette is a top 10 team in this country.
Yeah, no doubt.
Don't think for a second this kid is devoid of talent.
I know. I didn't mean it like
he
that.
was starting in a top 10 program. All right. When they say, well, his athleticism isn't quite there. Look, I can give you a long list of guys that athletically were over the top and they stunk.
Yeah.
Because that's all they were.
No, that's
so
true.
I wouldn't get too caught up in that.
To be fair, you think about Jalen Brunson from Villanova. He's not.
Is he the world's greatest athlete?
Yeah.
No, he's not.
But he's smart.
He's a
and
hell of
knows
a
how to
player,
play.
though. He's a top 10 player in the world right now.
So I like that he's also another lefty point guard. And, I got to think for the lefties. My guy's a lefty. My son's a lefty.
It's
so
such an advantage.
It is.
It really is.
So then with their next pick in the second round, which I think again came via trade,
Yeah.
they got a guy from Kansas, a fifth-year player from Kansas named Kevin McCullough.
Yep. Another program, another winning program.
Exactly, another
Yeah.
good program.
Yep.
He's 6'6", 206, so he's a bigger guard, kind of wing player. But the thing I liked about him,
When did they get him? I
They
know it
got
was
him-
second
it was like
round.
the fourth to last
50
pick.
or 51 from France.
yeah, no,
that's the other guy.
not that one.
Not that guy,
It was a pick from another team. Again, I don't know if it was the Mavericks or
Because they got A.J. Mitchell, the point guard from UC Santa Barbara. He was 38.
no, they didn't get him.
Oh, they didn't.
I think they traded him.
Well, they did.
See, like so.
He's draft. All right,
So
all right.
click on him
Yeah.
and then go down to the bottom, and it tells you who it's owned
Oklahoma
by.
City was spent Thursday afternoon maneuvering around the draft, first moving in at 52 with the Warriors, then up to 40 with the Blazers, finally at 38 with the Knicks. Thunder were in pursuit of Mitchell. So
See,
you drafted him for them?
So we drafted him, but then it's basically they have this pick.
Okay.
So that's why I was saying it's so confusing looking
Yeah.
at their draft board.
Yeah.
Because that should just show OKC.
So, because then you, to your point, you guys draft again at 51, and you got Melvin with this.
But again, that's not ours.
That's not yours. Hold on.
No.
Down the bottom, pick belongs to the Mavericks.
Exactly. So
Okay.
so if you go back,
Let me scroll. Let me close that up for a second so I go back into the.
see we picked fourth in the second round.
Yeah.
That's where we got the Marquette kid.
Yeah.
Then we picked all
Let
the
me-
way
let me
towards
close
the
that one.
bottom.
Let me get. All right, hold on. So hold on. Let me go to. All right. So here, you
So,
have fourth.
so
and
there's
second
Tyler
round.
Kolek or whatever
Yep.
his name
All right.
is.
So that's the one that they drafted that for you.
Yes.
That was
then you
Portland.
come
Okay.
up here,
Yeah.
and we are
Cameron Christie.
McCullough.
McCollum.
Kevin McCullough.
Okay, which is Kansas. Okay, small
Yes,
forward.
so-
Okay, they're showing the Phoenix. This is where you get all confused.
Yeah,
they
it's
show
so-
a symbol of a team that really they may have the draft, but it's their pick.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Like,
it's
why
confusing.
not up front show it's the Knicks pick? Then when I click into it, tell me how they got it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's confusing.
But so
Okay,
anyway,
yeah.
they got this kid from Kansas.
Yep.
He was there. He was a 5-year player.
Yep.
He had some injuries.
Yep.
They said again, not a crazy athlete, but he's tough. He's got the competitive edge. He's versatile, and you see his competitiveness and his versatility on the defensive end and with his passing. So again, it's a Tibbs style player. I think it's a current Knicks system style player, and if he can work on his shot, maybe he comes off the bench and he gives you some like really good minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he to his point, toughness, competitiveness, versatility, always show up, ability to guard, pass, improve scoring and efficiency his senior year made him their most valuable player. That's saying a lot in a program like that.
You're the MVP on Kansas.
If you're the MVP on Kansas, you're a legit player.
And he's like 26.
Yeah.
Or 25.
He's
so
25. So he's not a rookie.
He's mature.
He's mature. And by the way, that's smart.
Yeah.
Because to your point about the kid they drafted first who's 18,
Mm-hmm.
he's
a project.
He's a project. This kid can probably play right away, meaning he won't get lost out there. He'll know what he's doing. He can contribute. And when you got a team like the Knicks, who right now, if the pecking order, and I actually said this before, but I had Boston 1, New York 2 in the entire Eastern Conference, that is what you're doing.
Exactly.
You're finding players that fit your roster, that if they don't make the no rotation, they're there, or they're in the D League, and you're moving them up when you need them if injuries happen. And if you look at what happened Knicks last year, they're making sure that if that happens again, not that it would, but you have to think like that.
Yeah.
We have to be prepared if that happens again. We can't nosedive because
Right.
we just don't have the bodies.
You have to have enough.
You've got to have enough.
Yeah.
And that's where the 15-man roster is very important, but that's where the D League is also important because the kid, if he's not playing there, he'll be playing in the D. He won't be sitting on a bench shining a seat with his ass.
Right.
So now, again, I think he's the type of kid that maybe can crack the rotation and doesn't have to go down there because he is, to his point, 25 years old.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he should be able to
he should be able to make the team and play.
Yeah.
So, and he's 6'6", can guard a couple of positions,
Yeah.
and he's mature.
Yeah.
So overall, I thought New York had.
Well, there was one more pick.
There was one more guy. Yeah.
It was the last pick, and again, it doesn't say it there, but they got it from Dallas.
Yeah.
And I think it was an Australian guy, 6'11", 246. The only thing that I question about this pick, it seems like they drafted Mitchell Robinson.
Ariel
Huck-Porty?
He's from Germany.
Yeah.
6'11", 246.
Yeah, I mean, big guy, big body. They said that NBA teams have been looking at him for a while. They also said he's the most productive rebounder in the draft on both ends.
Chiseled,
Not skilled.
mobile center.
Yeah.
So think defense and the most productive rebounder in this class on both ends of the floor per minute.
Right, but he has injury concerns.
Yeah.
He's not that good away from the basket.
No.
So to me, he seems like a Mitchell Robinson type.
Sure.
Which, okay, I wish they would get scoring at the center. But again, the end of the draft, you're not going to.
No, at the end of the draft, it's about filling out players that can, if you have a depth or injury issues, you have guys you can plug and play.
Exactly.
And they can do what you
play
need them to do.
defense, get offensive rebounds.
I mean, championship teams have role players, and they fill. And if you need, like Boston is loaded with them. So was Denver last year when they won, when they had their bench full, they let it all go away, and it cost them. The Knicks are trying to make sure they fill out their roster where they have the depth to stay in the race if something, God forbid, goes wrong again to somebody. What if Jalen Brunson goes down in week 5 and he's out for a month?
Yeah.
The ship can't sink.
No.
You got to have a guy in there who can hold the fort, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
And that's a smart GM.
Yeah.
Okay, so I give the Knicks a lot of credit for that. A lot of these names aren't sexy, but they got teeth. And that's the thing.
Well, the other thing we didn't talk about with the Knicks that we probably should have started with was what happened last night before the draft.
Yeah.
Or was it before the draft or after?
The trade from Mikal Bridges? That was before. All of it was before that. And
so
then,
that was the biggest thing the Knicks did.
Yeah.
They traded, I don't know, 5 or 6 first-round picks and a second-round pick for Mikal Bridges. They also gave away Bogdanovic. Which, I mean, what was he going to do anyway? You know what I mean? Like, so they overpaid a little bit for Mikal Bridges, but so what? What were they going to do with all those picks? They stocked them. They stockpiled those picks to make a move like this.
You do this with a team like that has a guy that fits. Again, you have to find this guy, and hopefully he's on a team like this that's rebuilding, where they want 5 first-round picks. Yeah. Because that guy we're talking about, he's not a cornerstone player, but he's a good player.
He's really good.
And he can be a missing piece to a team that can compete for a championship. That's what he is.
Well, and then you take into account this. I think he's 6'8", 6'9".
He's 6'6".
He's only 6'6"?
He's 6'6".
Really?
Yep, 6'6".
He can defend. He can score. So if Julius Randle gets hurt, Jalen Brunson's not the only guy that can score anymore. No. You have him. No. He won a national championship with DiVincenzo, Hart, and Brunson.
They literally just call this the Villanova Knicks.
It's like
at this point,
this guy is going to find a way to fit on this team. It's going to take them some time, but
honestly,
I love it.
Worst case, he's a 6th man, and that's a hell of a 6th man. if he's not in the starting lineup when Randall's healthy. You got that coming off your bench. That's awesome. Because he'll be honestly, if he's not starting, he's in the sixth man, which isn't a problem.
I'm pretty sure he will start though.
Over whom?
Well, because by the end of the year, you had like Josh Hart and DiVincenzo starting. They're bench players.
All right, so probably Hart.
So you go Brunson, Bridges, Randall,
Anunoby.
And then
who's your 5?
And then your 5 is either Hartenstein if you re-sign him.
This team is literally built to compete with Boston.
Yeah, they
literally. And they're not as good at most of the positions, but they're good enough where if
they
this
give
comes,
them a run.
They can. No, this is the thing. This is what they know. This is smart. Who's in front of? Who's the team we got to get past? Them.
Yeah.
So you build a team that can compete with them. Everybody saw that final. Everybody saw what Boston was able to do. It's a copycat league like everything else. Okay, Boston's versatility on defense and being able to switch every fucking screen.
Yeah.
They're the only team in the league that can do that.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. Okay, so that's the thing.
Yeah, we still need to figure out our 5. Though.
And this is where there's two areas where Boston still the 3 and the 2 and the 3. Tatum and Brown are still better than those guys.
But we're not gonna.
You're not gonna beat them.
No.
And then if Porzingis and Horford, that combination is devastating.
Yeah, it's devastating.
So that's where the Knicks are still a step behind them. Now, depth plays a role in this because again, if Porzingis, by the way, is going to miss the first month of the season probably.
So what's he going to look like when he comes back?
Yeah, well,
take him
all
time.
I care about is that he's 100%.
Yeah.
Because he can work his way in. He's been in the system for a year.
Yeah.
He knows the system. That's not going to be hard. I just want to make sure he is 100% when he comes back. I don't care if he comes back till mid-December. They can get through without him. They got with that, but that's what the Knicks got to do. They got to find a center. Okay, it's not just about blocking shots. You've got to be able to defend 26 feet from the basket. Because if you can't, Boston will kill you.
Right.
And that's what they got to find.
Yeah, and I think Mitch Robinson has a tough time defending far away from the basket.
Most big men do.
Hartenstein, a little better. He moves his feet well.
Yeah.
But, he's not going to do what Horford or Porzingis does.
No.
But I loved when, after they made this move, and, then they made sure to sign OG Anunoby. Because it was like, when you make the move to get Bridges,
he wasn't going anywhere.
When you make the move to get Bridges, there's no way you're letting Anunoby go to
was not,
Philly or somewhere else.
Was not leaving.
But
he wasn't.
They spent the money.
Yeah. They had to,
which was good.
Yeah.
Now they need to. They're probably gonna have to spend more money. I hope and I pray, even though I don't pray, that Jalen Brunson is a miracle man and signs an extension now when he doesn't have to. And saves the team some money down the road. If he doesn't do it, I don't care. Most people wouldn't.
He's already outplayed his contract.
Exactly.
He's already outplayed.
But if he signs his deal where it would basically he'd be getting paid 40-something million or just under 40 million, and it would extend him for. But if he waits till next year, it would be a lot more than that. So we'll see what happens.
This is where the Knicks got to get smart. Because what you've got to do is you got to give him a fair deal where he gets a bump, but it's not so substantial. And look, he's a smart kid. Yeah. If you say to him, look, the idea is for us to be in contention for years, not to have one shot.
Exactly.
At this. And to do that, we got to be able to pay more than just you. But we love what you've done. We want to give you a raise, but we're building around you too. And that's the other thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's where he's got to look at a guy.
Him that.
Here's where he's got to look at a guy like Tom Brady. How many times did Tom Brady take a little bit less to keep the Patriots? And that's smart. That's why the Patriots were always in contention.
Yeah.
And Brunson's, his father's from Massachusetts. He knows what's going on. He's on that staff.
Yeah.
So I don't
Sure,
think.
he's talking
To me, I think Brunson will do that in a heartbeat because he's a smart kid and he wants to win.
Yeah.
He's a winner. That kid's all about championships. He won 2 national titles or 1 national title at Villanova. He wants a world championship, and this team is set up to have a serious run at this in the next 4 or 5 years. If Brunson takes a little bit less than he probably could get on the open market.
Yeah.
And honestly, what's a little bit less?
Well, it's not less than he can get on the open market. If he waits to do his extension with the Knicks till next year, then the Knicks can give him like a supermax
deal.
But again, then more money is allocated to that one player.
Well,
and the thing there that we're talking about on the radio, and I totally agree with Gio and Boomer were talking about, like, Brunson does not seem like the type of guy, if he's making $39 million and OG Anunoby's making 41, he doesn't give a shit.
No.
He's not, I need to be 43. No.
He's not that dude.
They all recognize, these are the type of guys that recognize everybody plays their role.
Yep.
Josh Hart's getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
DiVincenzo's not.
No, but he should because he's playing very well, and he's a key cog, and you're what you want to do.
Yeah, I know. He's
and by the way, Brunson knows this.
I know they all do.
Because Brunson's won championships with these guys.
Yeah.
He knows they'll have his back.
Yeah.
So to me, this will be easier than people think it is because the commodity, they're proven.
Yeah.
They're proven.
Well, they had Jay Wright on this morning, and that was a great conversation because he got to talk about like what they were like in college, and he said, well, when he was talking about his guys, Boomer was like, "It's funny to hear you talk about your players. You sound like Danny Hurley talking about his players, because it's like the same kind of kid that they recruit." But Jay Wright said most players come in to college to get to the NBA.
Yep.
That's their goal. Get to the NBA.
Yep.
And he said, look, you don't blame anybody for that. Like,
no, especially if you
what
come
you
from
wanna do.
a number of their families, they're their meal
Exactly.
ticket out. I get
Right.
it. I get it.
He said, but with these guys, their goal was to win a championship
First.
and then get to the NBA,
Yeah.
which is a different mindset.
It is a different
you know, and it was cool to hear him talk about that because it's easy to see it. Like when you see them play, that like they're different. And he said it's kind of different from a lot of people nowadays. And
It's
the
a
way,
throwback.
It is throwback.
It is.
You know, it's kind of like, hey, let's sacrifice for the team. And he said that too. He was like, they're gonna have to figure out, you know, who's coming off the bench, who needs to do the scoring. But they're the type of guys that will do that.
Sure.
So just to put a bow on the Knicks, it's so nice to see them making smart moves.
Sure.
It's been a long time since I've seen one of my teams do something like this over a span of time that's now going into its third year. Because you had the first year getting Brunson, and really they had started making moves before that. But Leon Rose really started when he got Brunson. Then he traded for Hart mid-year. Then he signs DiVincenzo. Then they trade for Anunoby. Now they trade for Bridges. They sign Anunoby. They're drafting guys that fit what they want to do. And after 25 years of shit, you know, maybe it could be like the 90s again. And I'm not even asking for championships. I'm just asking for a team that fights their ass off, that's in the mix, and every year when the NBA playoffs are on, I'm invested because I know that they're in there. And you never know what happens. Well, you know, with the Knicks, we got to 2 in the 90s. We got to 2 finals. Mm-hmm. But it still was like the golden age of basketball for me because they were always relevant. They were always competitive. Yep. That's all I want.
Yep. They were always one Chicago Bulls team away.
Right. Or Hakeem Olajuwon
yeah,
or Tim Duncan.
Yeah. So look at the 3 guys we're talking about. To me, 3 of the 15 greatest players that ever lived. So that's no shame in that. So look, I love what the Knicks did. They just proved me right. Because I knew that. First of all, anybody who thought that they were letting Anunoby go needs their head examined. That kid is one of the best. And again, I don't know where he finished in this all defensive ranking, but to me, he was first team. That's where I would have put him. That's how good he is.
He might have missed too many games.
Maybe, but that's where he is.
And that is the only thing that can hold him back.
Yeah, but the thing is, where they build out this roster is to give them depth so he's not logging 40 minutes a night. Because Tibbs isn't dumb. Okay, the 08 Celtics that he was a part of, that team was 10 deep. You can talk all you want about Garnett, Pierce, and Rayon. That team was 10 deep. Yeah. Okay, they could go 10 deep in the playoffs, and that's how you win a championship. This Celtics team could go 10 deep in the playoffs if it had to. They didn't have Porzingis for most of it. Okay, and they were able to go 9. They still didn't break a sweat. So, and he's 20-8 and 2 blocks. And for those of you who thought, well, isn't that good? You saw Game 1 of that finals. Talk about a knockout punch. Guy was out 5 weeks, and he did that to Dallas. Give me a break. Nobody in the Western Conference did that to Dallas, who was healthy. He did, though. So don't give me this shit about depth is not that. It's everything. And the Knicks realize that, and that's what they did. And kudos to them for doing it, because what they did ensures they're going to be in this thing all the way to the end of the regular season, barring a catastrophe. Okay?
Which you can't really plan for.
No, but we're talking Brunson, Anunoby, and they all go down. That's it. That's a catastrophe.
Well, Jesus, what happened last year was a bit of a
pretty damn close. It was pretty damn close.
And they were
it's Game 7
still fighting
against the Pacers, who had the best offense in the league last year.
Yeah.
So they're in it. They're legit number 2. They will push the Celtics. And look, I love this because this guarantees no letdown from Boston. They're gonna but switching gears to them because they only had 2 picks tonight.
Should we stop and then just do a Boston segment?
We
that if
can.
Somebody wants
Yeah,
to
you know,
watch
we'll do that because
Boston-
then we're going to do 3. We're going to have baseball tonight, too. We're going to talk Red Sox, Mets. But we'll take a quick break. We will come back. Segment 2, we will talk Boston Celtics since the championship, since the parade, the 2 moves in the draft today, and Porzingis' status going into the preseason. And what else the next move could or might be, plus the extensions, the impending extensions that are coming for Derek White and Jason Tatum, who both earned them. We will talk to you guys on the other side real quick.